Hey everyone, good morning, happy Thursday. Today's topic is going to be really short and sweet. It's a good topic for you to tune in. It's a buyer tip today. Got my sign changed out. But before we jump into the topic, I want to, hi, first of all, welcome. I'm Mariana Pearson, owner of Modern Nest Real Estate Group, this page that you are following. If you're joining in with us, let me know that you're on. Drop like a raising your hand emoji or something kind of fun. Let me know also where you are from, because we have a lot of people actually that jump into these lives that are from out of state. And so I just want to kind of get a feel for where everyone's coming from. If you're here in Texas, where we're from, hi. But if you are out of state, let us know. Oh, don't do this to me. Babe, can you get the cat, like open the door? Yeah, just open it. Sorry guys, my cat was in here taking a nap and I didn't know. There you go. She would just be annoying the whole time. So sorry about that. Hi guys again. Okay, so welcome to this week's Bless This Nest. Want to start off with a shout out. So this week's shout out, I'm actually going to shout out Jen Thompson. She is a friend of mine, a past client, but she also owns her own little company called, it's not a little company, but a company called Messy Bun Makings. This is the cute little, like her little logo with the little top nut bun and everything. She makes t-shirts and little cups and everything. So I wanted to shout her out because she made a few tumblers for me, which I don't have one of those, but she also recently made some t-shirts for our team. So we've got some new t-shirts for the team. They're just super cute, super soft t-shirts. She makes all sorts of t-shirts. She will do logos. She has some of her own designs that she puts out, some really cute sayings. So go check her Etsy out. And then in the last shipment, because I've already ordered like 5 times from her, she made these towels kind of as little closing gifts. So how cute are these? Home sweet home. They're super cute. I actually just put one into a closing gift for a closing I'm going to today. So hopefully if they're not watching, they already know what part of their closing gift is. But I just thought this was so cute. So check out her. She's got an Etsy. She's got an Instagram. She's got a Facebook. I'm going to go back and tag her so that way you can find it. But it's Messy Bun Makings. Yeah, Messy Bun Makings. And so I just think it's so cute. And then every shipment, she adds this little hair tie, and it's like the softest, like nicest hair tie that you can think of. And it says, rock that messy bun anytime, sis. So just wanted to shout out Jen. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I'm just so excited for the t-shirts and for everything else you've sent and made for me so far. And I'm definitely going to keep ordering because I love her stuff. So yay, Jen. Okay guys, so today's topic is for the buyers. If you are thinking of buying a home in 2021, or even if you're just thinking about buying a home ever, we're going to talk about 3 home buying myths that I hear all the time. All of us agents hear all the time. I even thought some of these before I became an agent. So I picked out 3 myths that are very common for most buyers to think, and I'm going to talk to them about them today. So number 1, the first buyer myth that I hear a lot is you have to put 20% down in order to purchase a home. That is not true. That is a myth. There's actually all sorts of loans that are as little as 3% down. So the minimums on most of our loans, the basic loans, are 3%, 3.5%, 5%. You do not have to put 20% down when you are purchasing a home. Now, there are, of course, some financial benefits to putting 20% down. You no longer pay MIP, which is your mortgage insurance. So there's reasons why 20% is put into our head as something that it's kind of a goal, but it is not required that you put 20% down. I'm also going to suggest that you talk with a lender. Talk to a lender, see what you qualify for, what kind of loan you qualify for. Sometimes even for VAs, so for vets, or if you're in certain areas, you can qualify for 0% down. So that's for USDA. That's in certain rural areas where you can put as little as 0% down. So 20% is a myth. But talk with a lender, meet with them, see what kind of loan you qualify for. They'll tell you the same thing. You don't have to put 20% down, but of course, if you're able to, and that's one of your goals, there are financial benefits to doing that. So again, there's loans as little as 3% down. So 3% would be the conventional first-time home buyer loan. And so that's for if you are a first-time home buyer. Again, talk to a lender though to see if you qualify. And my number one tip when it comes to getting pre-qualified is don't get pre-qualified with an online mortgage company. Go to someone who's local. Not only does the communication so much easier when you're working with them, when you're in the actual process of getting the loan, but they can sometimes, even right now with COVID might be a little bit tough, but they can sit down with you. You can meet them at their office and they can actually look at your financial situation and see what the best fit for you is, what makes sense. Sometimes they may tell you, no, you don't actually need to put this much down. Why don't you go ahead and save your money, so you have funds for, for furniture and things like that, and put more of the minimum down, and it's still going to end up being in a monthly payment that's comfortable for you and your budget. So myth number one is that you have to put 20% down in order to purchase a home. So again, that's not true. Talk with the lender, see what loan you can qualify for. Myth number two is it doesn't matter if you don't have a real estate agent. So it doesn't matter, you don't need a real estate agent. That is a myth, I think. I think every agent or every client needs a buyer's agent. So I'm gonna talk to you guys, first of all, here's how a buyer's agent gets paid. I think we don't talk about this a whole lot. Talking about money and commissions and things like that really isn't talked about a lot just because it's just awkward to talk about, how people get paid. People don't like to talk about their income and things like that. But here's how a buyer's agent gets paid. When a listing agent goes on a listing appointment and they are meeting with the seller about selling their home, during that appointment, they are negotiating or they're coming to an agreement on a commission that they're going to get paid as a whole. Inside that listing agreement that we have, and again, I'm in Texas, by the way. I always feel like I have to disclose, I know Texas real estate. So I'm in Texas, this is Texas real estate. I'm assuming this is national, but just in case you're in a state where you're like, that's not how it works, I'm in Texas. So just keep that in mind. But when they're on the listing appointment, in that listing agreement, part of that commission, they're agreeing to pay a buyer's agent if there is a buyer's agent. And the reason I say that is sometimes if there's not a buyer's agent, meaning you aren't working with a buyer's agent, that listing agent is having to do double work, both for the seller, who, by the way, they work for the seller and are representing the seller, so they have the seller's best interest at heart. They're also having to do things on the buyer side if you don't have a buyer's agent. And so they are potentially getting paid that full commission. So for you as a buyer, you do not have to pay for the buyer's agent commission. That actually gets paid from the seller side. I think a lot of people, I think most people understand that. Most of the time when I talk to a new client, they understand that they don't, pay for a buyer's agent. But sometimes every now and then I get people who say, well, if I don't use a buyer's agent, I can save money because, I can. No, not really, because that listing agent is due that full commission and can take the full commission if there's not a buyer's agent. So just keep that in mind. Again, we don't talk about that a whole lot, but that is how it works. That is how it works. And so you not using a buyer's agent, and really it's not just about the commissions or saving money. Sometimes, and it really is important to have a buyer's agent because you will have someone who's working for you, who is able to show you the properties when you need to be shown the properties. You're not having to call the listing agent on every sign every time you want to see a house. And sometimes you may not even make it in to see that house before it's under contract. So having an agent who's looking for properties for you, setting up showings for you, and then once you find a property, being able to negotiate on your behalf is so important. So really, a buyer's agent can save you money because we're making sure, A, you're not overpaying for the property. We're running, comparables before you make an offer. We're negotiating with the seller on your behalf to make sure that you are getting the best win-win deal with the seller. So just keep in mind, the listing agent's job is to work for the seller, to represent the seller, and their job is to get the most money or the best terms for their seller. A buyer's agent's job is to hopefully get you to the least amount of money to pay for the property, but also making sure we're keeping in mind, depending on the market and what market we're in. And part of a buyer's agent's job is to educate you on the market that you're currently purchasing in, but being able to help negotiate so you're also getting a win-win situation, and they're going to be focusing on your best interest. So working with a buyer's agent doesn't cost you money. It's not going to save you money if you decide not to work with a buyer's agent. And we're here to help you, with your best interest and making sure we're negotiating, we're getting you through contract to close. So we're getting you through the timelines. You're not missing any deadlines, things like that. There's so many things that a buyer's agent does that it doesn't make sense to not have one. The other super common misconception or myth that I get all the time, I hear people say this all the time. I actually heard it again this week. So I'm going to start to do a better job at making sure I'm educating everyone about this, is that you don't need a buyer's agent for new construction. You absolutely should hire a buyer's agent for new construction. That sales rep, same thing. Their job is to work for the builder. They represent the builder. Their job is to get the most amount of money for that house, to sell that property. They're not looking out to give you a deal. They're not looking to try and, they want to make sure that you're buying that one house, because that's the only way they're going to get paid. If you have a buyer's agent who is able to show you different new construction properties and look for a property that fits best what you're looking for and gets you the best deal, that's where a buyer's agent is going to be so vital when it comes to new construction. Plus, there's so many things that can be negotiated with new construction and so many incentives that sometimes they don't bring up. There's even times when they're giving a real estate incentive and we kick that back to our clients because we don't try to take those on. So it's just, there's so many benefits to working with a buyer's agent. And again, same thing, you're not going to get a deal if you decide not to work with a buyer's agent. Builders have a marketing budget that's set aside. I actually am new home buyer. I forgot what the designation is. I took some extra courses and I'm a new home buyer specialist or something like that. I know I should know, but it's a new home buyer I think it's new home buyer specialist certificate. That's what it is. So I took some extra classes, is what that means. And I really wanted to dive into new construction and how it worked and working with sales reps and kind of getting really their feedback on this. And they will tell you the same thing because sales reps were the ones that were teaching this class. They have a marketing budget that is set aside, and inside that marketing budget is how they're paying a buyer's agent commission. So when you walk in without a buyer's agent, they're not automatically saying, oh, well, because you don't have a buyer's agent, we're going to give you a discount. They don't do that. In fact, they try to not tell you sometimes. I'm not saying all builders or anything like that, but sometimes they're not going to tell you about the incentives and or, discounts that they can give you because, again, who do they work for? The builder. So they're just doing their job, and there's nothing wrong with that. But having a buyer's agent that's educated and knowledgeable and able to walk in with you and really help you, because that's a very awkward situation to go in sometimes. I actually went with a buyer to go look at new construction last week, and this guy, he was a salesman. He was definitely a salesman, which again, he's doing his job. He's trying to sell this property. He was doing great. But once we got done, my clients looked at me and they just said, I am so happy you are here, because I knew how to handle him. I knew how to, give him the response that maybe he wasn't expecting, but just to kind of tell him hey, nope, we're good. We're not going to write an offer. They don't want this house. And so they just were super excited, or they were happy to have me there. And they were like, I don't even know what we would have done. It was so awkward. And I'm like, I get it, but he's doing his job. And so he was great. I knew he was a sales guy from the minute I talked to him on the phone, and work with them all the time. So we know how to handle them sometimes now. But again, they're just doing their job. So new construction, yes, you should be working with a buyer's agent. Now, absolutely, you don't have to. I know a lot of people go in and they work with the sales rep directly, but again, why wouldn't you? You're not paying the buyer's agent commission. You have someone who's working on your best interest. They're going to help you with saving money where they can. And once you're under contract, there's so many things that need to be done from the time that, especially if you're building from the ground up, there are so many things that need to stay on track and that the agent needs to check in on and do all the things. I mean, I can't imagine with some of my clients with the stuff we've gone through with new construction, them not having me who's fully there, like that's my job full time while they're off working and have life and kids and everything. So taking that stress off of that client was super important, or it is super important to do too. All right, so yes, work with a buyer's agent. Myth number 3, you should wait until spring to start looking for homes. So of course, springtime, everyone calls it like the hot season, like spring and summer, like that's when everybody's buying and selling. And I get schools, out of session, or it's about to go out of session. And first of all, your timeline that you need to buy or sell a house, like that obviously is super important. So if you have kids and they're in school and the only option is for you to be able to move during those times, I'm not saying that's bad for you to do. I'm just saying it doesn't mean that you need to wait or you have to wait for that time if you're able to start looking to purchase now in the winter time or fall time. So actually, we hear this all the time, but searching for homes before the spring really isn't a bad idea. There's actually less competition during this time of year, meaning there's not as many buyers that are looking, because if they do have kids and they have to work around the school schedule or different things like that, it means they're not also looking right now. So there's less competition. Yes, there might be less inventory at the same time because, of course, more people try to list around when they need to list, and that is spring and summertime. But if you do find something that fits what you're looking for, there's less competition, which means you're up against less offers or less buyers, and you could potentially be getting a better deal. And I say deal because you never know, but you could be getting or saving yourself some money versus if you were to wait until spring when you're up against all these other offers and you have more competition for that one property. So, you could potentially save some money just because of it being the off season essentially. And also keep in mind right now, rates are still super low. We have elections coming up. So elections do affect our market every now and then, or they definitely do, but we'll see what happens after election time. Rates are still currently low, and so really that's what you want to focus on too, is what the market as a whole is doing. Maybe not seasonal necessarily, but the market as a whole. So rates are still low. You can take advantage. You can get into a property and be able to afford a higher budget because the rates are so low. It keeps your monthly payment down. And because the rates are low, sellers are able to sell their property. So more listings. I say more listings are coming to market. We need more listings right now. We're very short in inventory, but sellers are able to sell, so they're becoming more eager to be able to sell if that's something that they're looking to do or needing to do right now. So just keep that in mind. Rates are still low. So if you are financially ready now or your lease is coming up soon, I'm already meeting with some buyers who are looking to purchase at the beginning of 2021, or we're looking right now. So now is not a terrible time to start looking. Like I said, there's less competition right now. So it doesn't mean you need to wait until spring, because if you wait until spring, or if you have to wait till spring, that's okay too. But if you can do it now versus spring, you might as well start that process now. And if we find you something in the meantime, you might be up against, or you should hopefully be up against less competition than you would in the springtime. So that is breaking myth number 3, which was waiting until spring to start looking. I think it's important that you look any time of the year, or you can look any time of the year. Just depends on what the current market's doing as a whole. So that is a wrap for today's video. Those were my 3 myths. Hi, Michelle. I see you jumped on. So if you guys have any other questions about the home buying process, or you want to set up a time to meet with me, like I said, I'm already setting appointments. I'm talking to buyers who are, even if they're 6 months out, we're sitting down and we're talking and we're going through a game plan. You know, when is their lease up? Do they need to save money? Do they need to go ahead and talk to a lender now so they can start paying off some debts? I have some amazing lenders that are walking through with my clients on how to get their credit scores up. So they're not even having to meet with a credit specialist. They're well versed in like, hey, if you pay this down, this will bump your credit up, and this was where you need to be in order to qualify for the loan. And then they're giving them an idea of what kind of price point they're looking at. So maybe they need to save a little bit more if they're wanting to try to get into a higher budget. So, hey, Michelle, I need to check in with you. I need to see how you guys are doing. Oh my gosh. I'll text you after this. So anyways, that's all I have for today, guys. Again, if you need anything else from me, whether it's buying or selling, please let me know. I'm always here for y'all. Hope you guys are staying warm and have an awesome Thursday. I will see you guys next week, which will bring us into November. So see you guys next week.